Alexander Isak'S Liverpool debut date after completing record-breaking transfer. Alexander Isak is set to complete his British record transfer from Newcastle to Liverpool ASAP. But when could the Swede make his debut for the Premier League champion? Alexander Isak is on his way to Merseyside to undergo a medical. As Liverpool prepare to finalize a record-breaking deal for the striker, the Swedish international is set to become the most expensive signing in British football history once his transfer from Newcastle United is officially completed. At 25, Isak is ready to step into a Liverpool side that has recently lost both Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz, leaving a noticeable gap in attacking depth. Interestingly, Isak has already been named in John Dahl Tomasson's Sweden squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Kosovo. Despite not featuring in any of Newcastle's opening 3 Premier League fixtures after being left to train away from the first team since July, Liverpool fans will eagerly anticipate the moment he puts pen to paper on a 6-year deal and makes his long-awaited debut at Anfield. Still, the coaching staff are expected to ease him into action carefully. Given his lack of competitive minutes in recent months, the Reds resume league duty with a trip to newly promoted Burnley, followed closely by a Champions League group stage clash with Atletico Madrid on September 17. The schedule is relentless. 5 games in just over 2 weeks, including encounters with Everton, Crystal Palace, and a testing trip to Galatasaray, reflecting on potential deadline day business after the weekend's victory over Arsenal. Manager Arne Slot remarked, "It always depends on the right player at the right price. Whether that happens today, I can't say for sure." Liverpool have also received a timely boost in their pursuit of Crystal Palace captain Marc Guéhi. Reports suggest that negotiations are progressing, with the England international emerging as the Reds' top defensive target before the window. Guéhi featured and scored in Palace's emphatic 3-0 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday, after which coach Oliver Glasner stressed his wish to keep the centre-back. However, Palace chairman Steve Parish previously admitted that the club cannot afford to risk losing him for nothing when his contract expires in 2026. Leaving the door open for a sale, Liverpool are believed to be leading the race and are reportedly willing to pay in excess of £30 million. Palace, meanwhile, are working to bring in defensive reinforcements, which could smooth the way for GI's departure. Sky Sports News revealed that Palace are close to signing Igor Julio from Brighton, with the 27-year-old Brazilian already preparing for a medical. In addition, Toulouse prospect JD Canvit is also expected to arrive, potentially clearing the path for Guéhi to seal a late switch to Anfield. Arne Slot has already overseen more than £250 million of summer investment, but remains keen to strengthen further before the deadline. Alongside Guéhi, the headline capture of Alexander Isak represents Liverpool's biggest statement of intent. The striker's deal with Newcastle will not only set a new Premier League benchmark, but also reshape the Reds' frontline heading into a pivotal campaign. Meanwhile, AC Milan continued to keep a close eye on Liverpool's Joe Gomez. The Italian giants see him as their priority defensive signing after failing to land Manuel Akanji, and there were even suggestions of a €15 million agreement being close. However, Liverpool are currently reluctant to sanction a move. Palace had also asked about Gomez as part of the Guéhi discussions but were firmly rebuffed. Gomez featured late in the Arsenal game after Ibrahima Konate picked up a knock. Slot later downplayed the severity, though tests will be carried out to confirm the extent of the injury. Until Liverpool secure Guéhi another defensive addition, Gomez is unlikely to be allowed to leave. Milan are monitoring alternatives such as Leicester's Caleb Okoli and Ajax's Josip Sutalo, though neither deal is close. Chelsea's Wesley Fofana, on the other hand, is not available. For now, Gomez's future remains on hold, directly tied to Liverpool's ability to conclude a deal for Guéhi. Newcastle land. Wissa, here we go, as Brentford finally give? In 2 big money offer, Newcastle United are closing in on the capture of Wissa, after reaching an agreement with Brentford on a £55 million package. The Congolese forward is now set to head to the northeast to finalize personal terms and undergo medical checks. With Team Talk already reporting the length of his contract, the 28-year-old attacker has been pushing for an exit after 4 productive seasons with the Bees. Both Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur had expressed strong interest this summer, but the Magpies moved decisively after confirming Alexander Isak's £125 million switch to Liverpool on Sunday night. According to Fabrizio Romano, Newcastle will pay £55 million for Wissa, who scored 20 goals in 39 matches last season, although Brentford initially stood firm on a £60 million valuation. The club eventually accepted slightly less, especially after Wissa publicly accused them of breaking a transfer promise and voiced his frustration about being blocked from leaving. Despite Brentford assistant Keith Andrews hoping to convince him to stay, Wissa has now accepted a 4-year deal with Eddie Howe's side. Romano confirmed that Brentford have approved the offer, and Wissa will travel north to complete the formalities. The Italian journalist has even given the deal his signature. Here we go, marking the end of another tense saga. Wissa will join Nick Woltemade in forming part of Howe's new look forward line for Newcastle's Champions League campaign. The move comes just days after the forward's outspoken statement on Instagram, where he accused Brentford of going back on their word. I have stayed quiet most of the summer, but with hours left of the transfer window, I must be honest about my intentions. I want to leave Brentford. I believe the club are unfairly preventing me from doing so, despite multiple fair offers. I have given everything to Brentford since 2021, scoring 49 goals in 149 games, and I will always be grateful to the fans. But earlier this summer, I was told both verbally and in writing that I could move if the right offer came in. That promise has not been honored, which is disappointing. Still, I want to part on good terms and continue my career elsewhere. Wissa also made sure to thank the Brentford supporters for their loyalty and kindness, admitting that staying against his wishes risked undoing the affection he feels for the club after 4 memorable years. Celtic lining up tree signings before deadline as Dolberg medical set. Personal terms sealed with another Celtic are preparing for a frantic end to the transfer window, with 3 attacking additions in the pipeline and 1 deal already at an advanced stage. Team Talk has learned the reigning Scottish champions are closing on a deal for Anderlecht striker Kasper Dolberg, while also battling Rangers for a Premier League winger and pushing hard to secure a versatile forward from Scandinavia. Of the trio, the Dolberg move is the most developed. A broad agreement has been struck with Anderlecht, and the 27-year-old Dane is traveling to Glasgow to undergo medical checks and finalize the last details of his contract. Dolberg, remembered for his sharp finishing in previous spells at Ajax and Nice, is tipped to become the marquee signing. Brendan Rodgers has been